in the shadows of forgotten towns, along dry riverbeds and hollow forests, something lingers. It watches, it waits, it remembers. Welcome to Fear Frequency Feed, where nightmares are broadcast, and every story echoes with a chilling truth. Turn off the lights, turn up the volume, and listen very closely. The truth behind La Llorona, origin and real encounter. There are few legends in Latin American folklore as chilling or as enduring as La Llorona, the weeping woman. She is more than just a ghost story. For generations, families across Mexico, the American Southwest, and beyond have whispered her name as both a warning and a lament. But where did she come from? And what if some of the stories were true? Tonight, we explore the terrifying origins of La Llorona and a real account that may convince even the biggest skeptic that she still walks among us. The story of La Llorona varies slightly across regions, but the core is always the same. A woman, betrayed, broken, and vengeful. According to most traditional tellings, La Llorona was once a beautiful woman named Maria. She lived in a humble village and captured the heart of a wealthy Spanish nobleman. He married her, and together they had 2 children. Maria was admired for her grace, elegance, and beauty. The townspeople called her La Perla del Valle, the Pearl of the Valley. She held herself with quiet pride, and her love for the nobleman was genuine, at least in the beginning. She believed she had finally escaped the chains of poverty and obscurity, rising into a life of luxury and meaning. But happiness can be a fragile thing. The nobleman, after years of marriage, began to change. He grew distant. He traveled more frequently, staying longer each time, returning with the scent of perfume on his collar and stories he refused to share. Maria suspected the truth, but she clung to hope for the sake of her children. One day, he returned, not to stay, but to say goodbye. He had found someone else, someone younger, wealthier, more suitable for his social class, and he intended to take the children with him. In that moment, something inside Maria shattered. Blinded by despair, anger, and betrayal, she led her children to the river, the same river where she had once walked hand in hand with their father. She told them they were going for a swim. She smiled as she knelt down beside them, her tears blending with the current. Then, with trembling hands and a scream swallowed by the wind, she pushed them beneath the water. The current took them. Moments later, as clarity returned, she realized what she had done. Panic seized her, and she dove into the river, hoping to pull them back, to undo the unforgivable. But it was too late. She wandered the banks for days, calling their names, her voice ragged and breaking. Eventually, she stopped eating. She stopped sleeping. One night, she walked back into the water and never resurfaced. But death did not offer her peace. According to the legend, when Maria reached the afterlife, she was barred from entering heaven. Her children's souls, frightened and wounded, refused to come to her. They hid from her, terrified of the mother who had betrayed them. Condemned by her own guilt and by the divine, she was sent back to the world of the living, not as a woman, but as a wraith. A cursed spirit, doomed to wander the rivers, arroyos, and canals of the world, searching for her children. And when she cannot find them, she takes others. They say she weeps by rivers, screaming, "Ay, mis hijos, oh my children." She is drawn to the sound of laughter, to the sight of young ones playing near the water, and if she sees children wandering too close, she takes them, not out of cruelty, but out of a desperate, broken hope that one day one of them might be hers. In Mexico, she is a common tale told by abuelas to warn children not to stray too far from home. In New Mexico, they call her the Ditch Witch, haunting arroyos and irrigation canals. Some say she wears a flowing white dress, with black hair that trails down to her waist. Others describe her as a shadowy figure, with no face at all. But all agree, when you hear her crying, you must run, because if she mistakes you for her lost children, she will take you, and you will never come back. This story comes from a man named Carlos Ramirez, a former sheriff's deputy in El Paso. He never believed in ghost stories, not until the night he got a call about a missing child near the Rio Grande. It was late, just past 2 a.m. A storm had rolled through earlier, and the river was high. The parents were frantic. Their 6-year-old son had wandered from their camp during the storm and hadn't come back. Carlos joined the search team. They combed the banks of the river, flashlights slicing through the dark. The air was thick, damp, and buzzing with electricity. Crickets chirped and frogs croaked, but under it all, there was a tension in the air, the kind that makes your skin crawl for no reason. Then they heard it, wailing, a woman's voice, sobbing in the distance. It didn't sound like someone hurt or scared. It sounded like pure grief, raw, ancient. Carlos radioed in. "We have a possible lead. We're hearing someone crying." He and his partner moved toward the sound. But as they approached, something changed. The crying grew louder, more frantic. It wasn't random. It was rhythmic, repeating the same phrase over and over. "Ay, mis hijos! Ay, mis hijos!" Then it stopped. Dead silence. When they reached the riverbank, they found footprints. Small ones, like a child's, fresh, but they didn't lead back to the camp. They ended at the water's edge, as if the child had stepped in and vanished. No sign of the boy, no struggle, just that deafening silence and the gurgle of the river. Carlos says he turned to speak to his partner, but his partner was frozen, staring across the river. "Look," he whispered. Across the water, just beyond the trees, stood a woman. She didn't move, not an inch. Her white gown shimmered faintly in the moonlight. Her long black hair draped down her sides like curtains. Her face was hidden beneath a veil of shadow. Carlos lifted his flashlight and shouted, but the light seemed to dim as it reached her. The darkness around her was too heavy, like it swallowed the beam whole. She stood still, too still. Then, in the blink of an eye, she was gone. No footsteps, no splash, no trace. The only sound was the wind picking up and the low moan of the river. They found the boy's body 3 days later, miles downstream. No wounds, no water in the lungs, just pale skin and eyes wide open, staring at something no one else could see. Carlos retired a year later. He doesn't talk about La Llorona anymore, but sometimes when the river runs high and the storm clouds gather above El Paso, he swears he hears her again, crying, calling, searching. La Llorona may be a legend, but legends often begin with truth. So the next time you walk near the river after dark and you hear someone crying, don't stop, don't answer. And whatever you do, don't let her see you. If you're still with us, then you heard what others were never meant to hear. You felt the chill crawl down your spine. You've heard her cries. And you know now, some stories aren't just stories. So if you liked what you heard, subscribe, stay close, and don't wander too far from the signal. Fear Frequency Feed, signing off for now.